And right now, we are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick alongside Katie Greifeld, taking you through to that closing bell with a global simulcast. It's already started. There's Carol Massar. There's Tim Stenovec in the radio booth. Welcome to our audiences across all of our Bloomberg platforms here on a relatively inconsequential day, Carol Massar, at least in terms of the price action. The market apparently waiting for a big Fed decision in 22 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Very eager to see what Jay Powell and company have to say. Very eager to see that press conference, the dot plot. In the meantime, yeah, you're seeing a fair amount of selling. Most names in the S&P 5 or lower, 500 or lower. But yeah, we're just kind of waiting for that decision.
Yeah, the and company part of that, the Jay Powell and company part, I think is really interesting today.
New,
given
the old,
Stephen Myron is there, given that Lisa Cook is there as well. I anticipate a lot of questions, maybe not answers necessarily from the Fed chair about this tomorrow, but certainly the press corps gathered there will be curious about those things.
How long do we have to wait for it? Remember, you have to wait like 5 years or something for they give you like the full transcript. So
oh my gosh. Yeah, let's set a timer for 5 years from now. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes for it to come up in the press conference. Of course, we were having this discussion yesterday that the politics is almost as interesting as the policy here. And to your point, Tim, I have to imagine that the reporters in the room will be very curious to get some details.
So we get this pullback, though, and it gets to this idea, guys, we have stocks basically at record highs. So the question is, if we do sort of embark on a rate-cutting cycle, or that's telegraphed tomorrow, does that actually goose the stock market? Does that sort of make this rally go further?
We shall see, right, how much of this is already priced in. But I do think, too, it's all about those dissenters, how much debate goes on and how many people don't agree maybe with the Fed decision.
All right, well, you are seeing the dollar pull back, the VIX slightly higher, yield slightly lower, Bitcoin in the green, and stocks across the board in the red, though only fractionally on the day. The S&P 500 right around that 6606 level as we wait for those numbers to settle, down roughly 8 points or 1/10%. The Nasdaq Composite down by roughly 0.1% as well. The Dow Jones Industrial Average losing 0.3%, and the Russell 2000 down 2 points or 0.1% as well.
All right, going back to the S&P 500, as we mentioned earlier, Katie, you've got most names in the S&P lower, 313 losing ground on this Fed decision eve, if you will, 188 to the upside, 2 unchanged.
How do you celebrate? Do you put like little stockings up over your desk?
Yeah, it's exactly.
Yeah.
Little dollar bills, little treasury bills.
There you go. I plug in my money printer. Let's take a look at the sector level
Remember that song?
as well. You have the circle there. It's pretty much an even split, maybe weighted a little bit more to the red. The energy sector was your bright spot today, up about 1.7%. You can see that tech overall was red. Utilities was your biggest loser on the day, though. That sector down about 1.8%. All told, 5 green, 6 red, Carol.
All right, so let's get to some of the individual gainers. Had to quick switch in Oracle after that headline crossed the Bloomberg. The Wall Street Journal coming out and saying U.S. investors, including Oracle, Silver Lake, and Andreessen Horowitz, would control TikTok's U.S. business, according to people familiar. Sounds like there's a lot to be figured out and an interesting entity in terms of the board and who does what and who owns what. But we talked to our Brad Stone about it. He said there's like maybe some friction when it comes to maybe users ultimately signing on with it.
Just to be clear, Carol, I mean, so the Chinese have agreed to this? Is that the idea?
I get that's what it seems to say, but it's kind of odd because, you know, it sounds like 80% owned by investors. I think there's still a Chinese position in this U.S. entity. It sounds like there's maybe some new algorithms. There's a lot that makes me, I don't know, a lot of questions.
We spoke to Brad Stone about this earlier, and he said if people actually have to download a new app, like this looks like a pretty big win for a company like Meta Platforms or Alphabet that has YouTube that's done a good job with Instagram and YouTube Shorts, kind of going into TikTok's territory. It's hard. That's friction, he said, to make users download a new app. So,
what if it's not as good as the old app,
of course,
right? Which everybody has loved in terms of the algorithm. What's interesting, too, and I think we had an earlier story on the Bloomberg about Oracle and their cloud contract that they had with TikTok. And so maybe that's part of why we're seeing Oracle also higher. So TBD, more to be known, but nonetheless, Oracle popped up 1.5% in today's session. Want to mention Moderna as well. That went up about 4%. Higher as the company says its new COVID-19 formula of its Spikevax vaccine produced a strong immune response against the dominant variant that's out there. And so we've been getting some information on that. This is what, though, in this report I thought was interesting, guys. Company said CDC data from U.S. wastewater shows COVID-19 activity is high.
What?
Doesn't that make you feel good?
Do we not just get these numbers out of the CDC?
You're so, you're on fire here. Hey, Tesla up almost 3% in today's session, continuing to gain. I think moving up to its highest level since about late January. And this is despite the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration opening investigation into whether some Tesla vehicle doors are defective. It's a really scary story that's out there, but nonetheless, stock is up 6 days in a row for a gain of about 21%, and up about 4% year to date. So investors continuing to move into Tesla, Tim.
Okay, you got the gainers, I got the decliners. I want to start with Warner Brothers Discovery, actually falling today, 6.2%. Shares fell after TD Cowen downgraded to hold from buy after the stock rallied, even as Paramount still has not made an official offer for this company. Separately, Senator Elizabeth Warren, earlier this morning, Democrat of Massachusetts, posted on X that the Paramount-Warner Brothers deal should be blocked.
Can I give you some intel? We had Laura Martin over at Needham on, and she mentioned something that I had kind of was lost to me, and it was about David Zaslav's recent contract and how he actually stands to make, in her words, it was something upwards of like $400 million if he does broker a sale above $17 a share for Warner Brothers by the end of next year.
Okay. Shares right now at $18.25.
Yeah.
Some would say he's really good with his contracts.
I was going to say, it's not the first time he's had a windfall in his career.
I know. Yeah, he's a savvy guy.
Yeah, he really is. Hey, taking a look at a stock that actually moved quite low early in the session, especially before the markets opened. It fell as much as 4%. Ralph Lauren today only falling by 0.4%. The company did come out and say that it sees revenue growth remaining similar to recent rates over the next 3 years. This according to the company's latest strategic outlook. The company's projecting sales to grow at mid-single-digit percentage annually through fiscal 2028, according to a statement out today. It's roughly in line with estimates from analysts compiled by Bloomberg, but it's also slower than the company has posted in recent quarters.
Yeah, my niece was in town. I took her to the Ralph Lauren, the coffee shop there on Madison Avenue, and she wanted a hat. It was like $60 for a baseball.
And so you got her too?
I don't know, but I mean, you can imagine the markup on that.
Hey, come on, you know about fancy dressing.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't. I'm just a humble.
You didn't buy her the hat?
Humble man.
Yeah, we've seen those.
Yeah, I shop at Burlington.
Finally, the New York Times.
Not that there's anything wrong with Burlington.
The New York Times down 1.6% today. Watching shares of the New York Times all day today after the president early this morning said he filed a $15 billion defamation suit against the company, as well as Penguin Random House, accusing the paper of serving as a, quote, mouthpiece for the Democrats. The New York Times said in a statement the lawsuit has no merit and is an attempt to stifle and discourage independent reporting, and the Times will not be deterred by intimidation tactics. By the way, the market cap, $9.5 billion for the New York Times. The defamation lawsuit, $15 billion.
All right, let's keep an eye on where rates went. And, of course, rates went where we expected them to go. Down once again here in anticipation of what everyone seems to expect is going to be a rate cut tomorrow, but more importantly, the start of a rate-cutting cycle. We had a couple of people on earlier today who kind of talked about this idea. It's not just going to be 25 in September that we could get. I think it was Barry Knapp, right, Katie, who said we could actually get 100 basis points between now and end of January.
That's what he would like to see.
Yes, yeah.
TBD. We'll see. We'll see what happens.